Hi everybody, how's it going today? Thanks for watching another video. A few videos ago I'd mentioned to you guys that we had put some sorghum and barley in on some acres around here that didn't get planted to corn like they were supposed to. So we're on a neighbor's field of ours. It's about a 550 acre field, I think, that they seeded sorghum Sudangrass on. And we're just starting to harvest that now. We had just started mowing this sorghum Sudangrass here yesterday, or 2 days ago now. We'd actually purchased a Claas triple mower. It's an 1100 mower. I think it's supposed to be 35 feet wide, but I found out already that 32, 33 is about as wide as we can go. We need to have a little bit of overlap because otherwise it seems like we'll leave some skips here and there. But I can show you guys the crops. So crops pretty good. It's a little variable throughout the field, which was to be expected, but overall, especially this first field that we started on, it's looking pretty good. It's 7-8 feet tall in the best spots. So we mowed the first stuff 2 days ago, and was a little bit too wet to chop yet yesterday. We'll see how it looks here this afternoon. It might be tomorrow by the time we get the first stuff chopped, but the plan is to kind of mow enough, keep enough mowed that we can keep the chopper busy. We have about 1,100 acres or so to do, so that's what we're working on here today. I'll stop in a little bit here and show you guys the mower and how the crop looks outside here. So this sorghum Sudangrass, it almost looks like corn a little bit. It's not going to get an ear in it like corn will, and the stalks are quite a bit thinner, but the leaves look pretty similar to what corn does. When it's chopped, it looks, without the kernels in there, it looks really similar to corn. The idea is here we mow it with and it's got this mower has a conditioner on it, so basically 2 rubber rolls that are breaking the stalks in several places to try to get this to dry down, because it is pretty wet. It'll probably take a couple days at least to get it dry enough to chop and make silage out of. We're trying to go for like 35% dry matter or so probably. We don't want this getting too wet. Or we don't want it to be too wet, I guess I should say. But mower seems to be doing a pretty good job. It's knocking down the sorghum pretty good. We're going about 7.5 miles an hour. Show you. 7.5 miles an hour. PTO speed at about 850 to 870. That's what I was told would be the best to run it at. I haven't really played with that much. Well, maybe once we get the first few hundred acres done, I'll play with that a little bit more. I want to get some mowing done here before we create too many problems. show you this crop here. So I'm about 6 feet, or I'm 6 feet exactly, just for reference. So it's probably about 7 feet here. So I cut to there and then I backed up and kind of show you what it's doing. So the crimpers are basically breaking these stalks. Try to get this to dry out a little bit quicker. I mean, there's quite a bit of moisture in there. You can grab them and your hands get wet. I'll show you these mowers quick and you can see how they work. So it's basically a bunch of discs with knives on them. Each disc has 2 knives. And then there's rubber rollers, and all this material goes through those rubber rollers and smashes all the stems. The back is exactly the same. The back mowers are a little bit wider, I think, than the front are. And these back mowers, this boom here telescopes in and out, so if you're doing your headlands you can boom them in so that when you're turning you're not missing any crop, but when you're going back and forth you can boom them out to get the maximum cut, you know, that they're just overlapping. I think the minimum overlap you can do is 8 inches. I have it set at 12, I think, at the moment. It's for the most part that seems to be working pretty good. It automatically talks with the GPS in the tractor, and that, I think, I don't know, seems like it's not exactly perfect. I've got it set right now at 2.5 feet overlap, and there's still, well, you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, we missed one little row there, that whole pass. For whatever reason, I think that so it's the mower is taking that measurement, or it knows how far out it is, and then it tells the GPS that where it is, so it adjusts the line based on how wide you have that mower set automatically. But it must either the mower is narrower than what Claas has it set to, or that boom measurement is not exact, so that's getting off every once in a while. So I've got it, yeah, like I said, set at 2.5 feet overlap. It was at 2 when I just missed that little chunk. I just set it to 2.5, so we'll try that. You obviously want to take as much as you can, but it doesn't make sense if you're leaving a strip here and there, because then it looks not very good and it's not doing a very good job. So we'll get back in here and do some more mowing. This is probably one of the better spots in the field here. Once we get a little bit further west, I saw it was a little taller, but this is about as good as it gets, and then some of it's maybe waist high where it's at its lowest point. It's yeah, pretty thin leaf, but the leaf almost looks like a corn leaf. And this was probably seeded on 7.5 inches, I think it looks like, with an air seeder. I should show you the back here. So this is how it's, I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is how it's coming out of the machine. We've got these guards on the left and right side. We've got the outside one pointed in all the way to kind of keep it away from that next, when you make that next pass, so you're not catching it with the end of the mower. But this one we've got out, you know, it's pushed out as far as it can. We're trying to leave it as wide as possible, and then with the center one here, we've got these narrowed up as much as we can, because otherwise we drive over the crop with the inside of the tire, and we're still kind of catching it a little bit. It's not too bad. It was worse before, but now we had them narrowed up all the way, and it's, I mean, you can see there's quite a bit of a windrow here. We want it really as wide as we can leave it so that it dries out quicker, because we have to come back with the merger and merge it anyways. So it almost looks like 3 nice windrows, and I think if we put all the shields together it would make 3 good sized windrows here. But we don't really need to do that because we're merging it together. Or at least that's the plan anyways. That's how we're going to try the first quarter, and make adjustments as we need to, I guess. This is new to me and new to our custom corn harvesting guys also. So it'll be a learning experience. it's been going fairly good so far. I did plug up the rollers on the front mower once last night. I was going through a little bit of a ditch, and you don't want to slow down or speed up too fast, because especially slowing down too fast, because then the sorghum got cut but didn't go through the rollers right away, so then it kind of sat on the cutter bar, and then a big wad came through and plugged the conditioners up, the rollers up. So I had to kind of clean it out by hand. As far as I know, you can't reverse it. I didn't even really look into that. I don't think you can. But other than that, it's been going pretty smooth. I replaced a couple blades. I hit a rock this morning with the right mower. That was, yeah, and I kind of bent, busted part of one blade off and bent another one up. So I replaced some knives already, but that was to be expected. This field wasn't rolled, and none of these fields were rolled. I think in hindsight, we probably should have had everybody roll their fields after seeding it, but we'll know that for next year, or for next time. Maybe we won't have this next year. Hopefully we won't. If we have a good spring, we shouldn't, but we'll know for next time to roll it. I can I'll show you this screen here, what I was talking. So you can set your min and max on how far your wings are out, and right now I have them set at so it's minimum overlap, maximum overlap. So when you're doing your headlands, you can overlap them 24 inches. So the back mowers are overlapping 24 inches with the front mowers. Make sure you catch any product when you're making a corner. And you can, and I've got the minimum overlap set at 12 right now, and they automatically go to 10, it's on 10 and 11. So it's trying to get close basically, and I think that's where maybe it's having trouble picking up everything on the outside occasionally. If it's off a little and that measurement's not accurate, then the GPS is not going to be accurate either, because this is telling the GPS how wide the mower is. I don't have the overlap set to 8 inches because there is some dips in this field and some ditches. So when you go through those, you kind of move the tractor a little bit one way or the other, so I don't want to end up leaving much. And a little bit of overlap, I'd rather overlap too much than not enough. So that we can also adjust the down pressure on the bar, so how much it can lift the bar up, I guess, maybe a better way of saying it, to not let it ride on the ground as hard. So you can adjust that in here as well. It comes from our Fendt dealer, I guess, basically, but they're a Claas dealer as well. So a couple guys from that dealer that are Claas product specialists came out to help set this thing up and get us going. So they were basically giving me the rundown, I guess, of the machine, but there's still going to be some things that we'll have to learn ourselves, I think, along the way as we have issues, or yeah, whatever it might be, I guess. Always things to learn when you have new equipment that you're not familiar with. So far it seems to be going fairly good, and hopefully that continues for a while. It's the next day here, Friday morning. I finished cutting the rest of this quarter last night, so there's about 140-ish acres that's been cut of sorghum so far. They're started chopping here late this morning on the first 40-50 acres that we cut that first day. We just cut a little bit that day, just wanted to see how it went, I guess, see how the merger handled the crop, and we wanted to see how much they could chop in a day so we didn't get too much cut down at a time. So they're over there chopping now, so we ended up, they tried merging 3 rows on top of a 4th one, but that was too much. What they did now is they're throwing 3 rows together over, and then they throw the next row back that way again, if that makes sense. So they're moving all the crop, but they're just doing 3 rows together. That's the merger is about the same width as the mower. The merger is 35 feet. The mower is a little under that. It's supposed to be 35, but we're cutting probably 32.5 feet. Seems to be going pretty good so far. fairly dry on top already. Underneath there's still some moisture. I've done a few dry matter tests, been around 36-35%. I think that's what Jason said. His chopper's been showing kind of around that too. Once we get going into some more of this, I'd like to get some footage of them merging the crop also. I didn't get a chance to do that, but we've got plenty of this to cut, so I think I should be able to catch them doing that at some point. He's got two semis like this one, and then that straight truck that I just left there. So they're going with three trucks in there. It seems like they're keeping up pretty good. We're about a mile and a half, or about a mile south of the farm here, so pretty close here. It's yeah, just a straight shot. Once they get on the road, straight shot over to where the farm is. You can see it down in the distance on the other side of that grain elevator there. I'd like to get my my drone up in the air to film some of the mowing, merging, and chopping. Hopefully we can do that here in the next week or so. I think seems like they can probably do at least 100 to 150 acres a day of chopping. So we'll see how it goes. Probably take us at least a week to 10 days, I suppose, to get all this sorghum chopped. There's quite a few acres we have to do. I think this first field is probably going to be the best yielding. There's another quarter that's similar to this, and the rest was planted a little later, so it's not quite as tall as this stuff is, but I think overall we should have quite a bit of sorghum here. And the plan is to feed it to the heifers, maybe to the dry cows. We'll have to see what it tests, I guess. If we really end up having a huge amount, maybe we can sneak it into the milking cow ration also. The plan is to feed it to the heifers mainly. I think that'll probably be it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions or comments, put them down below, and there'll be a few more videos, or at least one of us chopping the sorghum coming up here in the future. We also have some barley yet to chop, and we'll probably get some footage of that too if I can, or if I get the chance to. Appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.